I opened a new chat, and once again make sure to activate the code interpreter, and let's first load our data to ChatGPT by using the upload button and selecting our sales data CSV file we created. As Max mentioned already, writing prompts correctly, so prompt engineering is important. Still, I want to use very short and precise prompts now and see what the code interpreter makes out of this. So my first task is to prepare the data, so I'll give it a try with this prompt here. You are a professional data analyst. Use Python to clean the uploaded file. Let's see if this suffices already. And although we just used a very simple and short prompt, the analysis or the steps performed by ChatGPT or the code interpreter are quite impressive, to be honest. We won't dive into all these steps in great detail now, but let's get a general overview about the process that was initiated here. At the beginning, ChatGPT started to understand or analyze the general structure of our dataset. In the code, we see it uses the pandas package, a very common Python package, to read the data from the CSV file and to turn the first row of the data in this file into the head, so into the column names, into the columns, so to say. Therefore, we have the different columns here with the corresponding information, which is also listed down here. Then, the first preparation step ChatGPT performs is checking for any missing values. Once again, we could check the code ChatGPT uses, but it actually summarizes the results nicely down here in this little list. We see that we have 3 missing values for product ID, price, and quantity sold, and 2 missing values for sale country code. And this is actually not correct, because if we go back to our file, we see we have only 1 missing value for the country code, it's this line here, and 2 missing values for the other columns, in this line and in that line. The problem here is this line, where we change the separator from a comma to a semicolon. When first reading the file, ChatGPT or the code interpreter is not able to understand that these are not missing values, but just incorrectly formatted values, so to say. So, at first sight, this analysis seems to go into the wrong direction. But if we go back, we see that ChatGPT first gives us ideas on how to deal with these missing values, but then it instead continues with further understanding the nature of the missing data, so to say. It again does that with some Python code, which we won't dive into now, but with this next analysis, the code interpreter found the incorrect format in row 18, where we have the semicolon instead of the comma as separator. And it indeed understands that this should be fixed first before we further dive into our analysis. It then corrects this issue and then comes up with the correct number of missing values. 2 for product ID, price, and quantity sold, and 1 for sale country code. It then decides to remove the rows with the missing data because coming up with other numbers doesn't add any value to our analysis, so removing here is instead the better approach. And after being done with the general cleaning steps regarding any missing values, it continues with the data type analysis. There it decides that date should be formatted as date time, which makes our later analysis for different days, for example, a lot easier. And it also proposes to change the format of the product ID column and the quantity sold column from a float to an integer, which makes sense in my opinion. It then performs these data type conversions. At this point, we could stop our data preparation step, but the code interpreter continues even more by checking the data for any inconsistencies. This would allow us to quickly see any unreasonable data in our dataset, which in our case doesn't seem to be a problem. And afterwards, it also analyzes the sale country column to see how many different countries we actually have in our dataset for the respective sales. Finally, we get a quick summary of the steps that were performed, and with that, our entire data preparation is finished already. As you learned, inside a specific chat, the code interpreter always uses the same sandbox, so we could continue our data analytics workflow without creating a new CSV file with the updated and prepared data. But if we want to have this file, we can now tell ChatGPT to provide this file to us. So please provide the updated CSV file, and this now creates a link where we can download this file to our machine. With this, our data preparation is done already. Now we can continue with the data analysis and the data visualization.